You definitely not acclimatized because I'm literally having a hot drink and it's 27 degrees weather and I'm sat on the balcony. Listen, living anywhere is going to have its pros and cons. Did we expect this amount of challenges living here? Who knows? Thank you for coming back to get our next take on living in Vietnam. And if you're new here, hi. Please subscribe if you like transparent and informative and real videos about moving to Da Nang and living here as a family of 3. Why did I think to say 4? As a family of 3 with a 2-year-old. We've lived in Da Nang for almost a year, and today I thought it'd be important for us to share our pros and cons of what it's like living here. This is our take on the pros and cons, so I understand that not everybody's going to be on board with that, but some of you might relate. Our first pro has to be the cost of living. Here's the thing, I'm a big believer that no matter who you are, no matter where you're living, you should be able to live your dream life. And if you're overworked, burnt out, living in a country that basically no longer serves your purpose, it's just time to fly the nest. In Da Nang, the cost of living compared to other countries, especially Western countries, is very low. So I have done a video on our cost of living, so please go ahead because all of these prices are up to date to 2023. I literally posted this video a few weeks ago, so it's very, very relevant if you want to have a full debrief of how much everything costs. But this is a pro for us just because if I want to, take a spa break or just take 2 seconds and have a nanny that looks after my son for an hour or so, just so I can go have a shower, like all of these things are doable and they're not going to break the bank. They're not going to mean that I have to freaking sell a kidney. It's just like little things like that for us, it's just a non-negotiable. I feel like stress can really make a change in your life, and if you're so stressed and so overworked because you're in an environment that just sucks, that's one of the things that helps. Kind of leading into my first challenge, not a con, but definitely a challenge, is having to unlearn how hard things are back in the UK, for example, or in the Western countries. Here, things are just very simple. Say, for example, you want to rent a house, you want to rent an accommodation. It is not a process of a month or 2 months of back and forth vettings, credit checks, and all of that. It's just so simple. You could do it within a day. See a property you like, just have the money to pay for the property for however long you want to stay there, and you're done. There's no complications or long down processes, and it's just nice. Just interrupting that video to let you guys know that we've created a guide that helps you move abroad and teaches you how to go about it step by step. We've linked our stand store below. All you've got to do is click on the link and then click on the free guide, download it, and yeah, it's free. Please go ahead and do that if you don't really know how to get started on moving abroad, or you've just thought about maybe leaving the current country that you live in to live somewhere else. I hope it inspires you, and we hope that you get some use out of it. Okay, now back to the video. One thing that is a con for us is the shopping. So especially grocery shopping. Back in the UK, there's always going to be, or there always is, budget supermarkets. So if you are on a budget, you've got Aldi, Lidl. If you're in America, you've got, the dollar store, Target. Here, there is nothing like that. Everything there, or every supermarket that you go to, is quite highly priced. Especially, I don't even know how Vietnamese people can afford it, to be honest. I mean, they're clearly much better off than they make out to be, because I do not understand how that happens. A lot of grocery stores that you buy are imported, and the price tag on those is quite high. Again, grocery shopping video is right here. We did do a full breakdown. It's really informative, so go ahead and watch it if that's going to help you and if that's something that you want a little bit more specific information on. Here's something that might be a con to other people. I don't necessarily think it's a con for us, but it was a challenge. The chaotic but calculated driving, or somewhat calculated. There is a lot of traffic rules that I'm not even aware of. Not that I drive, but I'm pretty sure Aaron's not even aware of. Driving here is definitely very, very different than any other country that we've been to. Well, countries outside of Asia, I would say. And even things like safety, when it comes to safety, if there's an excavator in the middle of the road, there will not be a stop traffic, or there will not be like a closed road situation. You will just drive around it. That sounds ludicrous. I know. but it's just the norm and everybody does it, and it's just the way the traffic genuinely functions. So don't be scared if you're coming here for the first time, or don't be scared if you're living here. You get used to it. Even crossing the road, you just get used to just going, and walking into direct traffic is never comfortable, and it's definitely something that you have to get used to. But once you do, you kind of start to understand the flow. Not the flow, but you kind of trust that nobody's gonna, run you over as long as you keep on going. Yeah. But this does lead me into probably one of my biggest pros. You do not need a car to live here, and you won't feel sort of less than or like you're missing out if you don't have one. But you can also rent a bike, which I mentioned in our cost of living video, because it's, again, really, really affordable, and the petrol here is really, really cheap. So yeah, if you're comfortable driving around, which I'm sure you will be after a while of being here, it's very, very nice not to have to own a car. For us, anyway. Not 100% sure Aaron will agree, because he loved his car, but I think he likes his bike, so it's fine. What is a pro for us that might be quite surprising is communication. I feel like I've seen a lot of these videos, especially on YouTube, and if you just Google it, because a lot of foreigners tend to have issues, or they say they have issues when it comes to speaking or understanding English. Vietnam, especially Da Nang, I'm not sure about Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi, but Da Nang, not everybody's fluent in English, but that's never honestly been an issue for us, because translating over message or translating over, Google Translate has been so easy, and people are very patient, and the whole back and forth. I've been in taxi rides before where the driver didn't speak a word of English, but he could hear Kylo cough in the background, and he had like this screen on in the car, and he had a translator on, and he would speak into it, and it would speak back to me, and I'd speak into it, and it'd speak back to him. And he was just giving me advice on how I could get him some cough syrup and not to worry, because it's the time of season and everybody gets sick at this time. It was just really sweet, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people can get misinformation on, or maybe it's just our take, but I don't feel like the fluency in English has ever been an issue for us. So that's a pro. Something that is a slight con is the construction. In Da Nang right now, Da Nang is very up and coming, I would say, and there is constant development. Like, even right now, I probably have edited it out, but there is so much construction going on in the background, and there's so much construction noise. We live on floor 9 and I can still hear it. If you're gonna move here, definitely check if there's any empty plots near your building, because the likelihood is that there will be construction there, and if you're bothered by that noise, it's gonna annoy you. Nevertheless, it's not a deal breaker for us, because I can definitely put up with the construction noise if I have a calm beach to go and relax on, so I'm not complaining. It's just one tiny little teeny tiny con. A huge pro for us is the convenient intercontinental travel. We live 10 minutes from an airport. I've just seen an airplane take off. But I swear to God, I don't know what misconception I had about living so close to an airport, but I thought, oh my God, you could hear airplanes take off at 5 o'clock in the morning. No, I can't hear anything. I don't even know that I live so close to the airport until I have to actually go there, and the drive is literally 10 minutes long. But if you're thinking about traveling Asia in general, it is so easy to come and live somewhere, or especially Da Nang, since you're so close to an airport, but to just base yourself somewhere that has an international airport that you can just go to and from other countries. We travel really often, and it's honestly not very expensive at all, especially from here to Bangkok, here to Malaysia, here to Singapore. You can just bounce around in Asia and actually get to see so many more countries by basing yourself here, and it's cheaper than if you were to go back and forth from here to the UK, from here to Europe, from here to America. So yeah, one pro for me as a mum walking around with my son, I have found living here to be very, very safe. And I say this coming from the UK. I mean, I would not feel comfortable walking around with my son or taking him out for a walk as soon as it gets dark in the UK. And we lived in a really nice area, but for me, it's just not something that made me ever feel at ease. Whereas here, I don't ever feel like that. I actually feel quite comfortable. Anytime I've actually had issues here, or I felt unsafe here, it's been because of tourists or expats. It's never been because of Vietnamese people. And I've met a lot of solo travelers who also feel the same, and a lot of women solo travelers who also feel exactly the same. They've all said that living here or just coming through here has actually been very, very safe. One thing that might strike you as uncommon is if you have kids and you say you're walking through a public street, or you're at the market, if somebody finds your kid cute, they're going to come and touch your child. They're going to probably try and pick your kid up. Your kid is probably going to cry because they're not used to that, or maybe if they are, that's great, but to them that's very normal. Kids here are very friendly. I would say friendly, but they're very okay and open to other people, probably because the village is raising the kids. But yeah, whereas in the UK, I know that that's not very common. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I could probably make this video like 20-30 minutes long, but I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to bore you to death. So please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and let me know in the comments below what you want to see next time.